good.
Go ahead, fire away.
Fire away, man.
So watching this younger generation being out here for this, is how much fun is it for you, and just to kind of even see the looks on their faces when they first see you?
Yeah, it just takes me back to being a kid, and being in their shoes and seeing older kids and older players and looking up to older athletes. So it's definitely good just being here today.
Where do you feel like you're at mentally at this part of the summer? Do you feel like you're kind of itching to get back out there for fall camp, or are you kind of enjoying this time away?
Absolutely. I'm definitely overly itching to, get back to fall camp and, definitely get to the season. But I think it's just taking every day, at a time and, being the best, my best version of myself every day.
Did you get to do anything? What did you do to decompress after the season?
I didn't really do much. I was been focused on training. It was good to see my guy K1 get drafted. So, we hung out a little bit a little bit over the break, but that was pretty much it. I kind of been, working out.
There's a lot of new running backs in the room just this season. What was the spring like, just working with them and getting to know them and getting acclimated?
Yeah, it's just getting, over that learning curve, getting a lot of the new guys acclimated to the system, and we got some great talent in that room, and just getting them, used to our offense. So it was just good, getting to know those guys.
Kyson, how was the way last year ended for you? How does that drive you going into the new season?
Last year, didn't end in my favor. So it's just been, a working challenge, and I definitely left a lot out on the table. Of course, with my injury and whatnot. But I think the driving factor is just proving myself. And, here in college football, I think I'm one of the best running backs in the country, if not the best. So I think that's the job for me. In this off season and the season. That's what I wanted to prove to everybody.
With all those fresh faces in the running back room, are there any ways that you guys have been kind of getting to know each other and building team chemistry over the summer break?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We hang out all the time. I think that's the biggest part. Just being close with all the newer guys and newer teammates, and that's something that we strive to do. Just get to know each other more and hang out more. Ultimately that's what creates the best teams.
And what was talking about how days like today really help put things into perspective for you guys as college football players, thinking back to when you were laying in your bedroom, dreaming of being a college football player, when it's not about the money, it's just about wanting to be on that stage. Are you kind of feeling that today, as just kind of thinking back to when you were a kid and now you're here heading into your senior season at ASU?
Absolutely, it puts it into perspective. Just the pure love for the game. These kids, they're probably not even worried about anything else but just the love for the game. So it ultimately just allows me to come out here and just show my love for the game and just respect.
Any of your teammates look like they have a future in youth coaching based off these camps?
You really never know who got a future in coaching. Leaf, I never thought Leaf would be a coach. He's out here coaching, so it's good to see some of my older teammates become coaches, and so it just shows how much guys really love the game and just want to be around football.
You see guys all the time kind of break out in college football, have a couple of down years, and then kind of rise up. How motivating was last year for you to kind of approach this next year and your goals?
Yeah, ultimately I got to see a lot of my teammates do really good. We had a pretty decent season in our standards, but that's the driving factor for me. Just getting back out on the field and just being able to show who I am. I really work hard at my craft. I've been doing this for a long time, so it was really just disappointing just not to be out there and help my teammates and just be who I am. So I think ultimately it's just the love for the game for me is what I get out of playing. This is really what I love to do. So I think getting out there and being able to do what I love, that's the ultimate driving factor. So I'm really ready to get back out on the field.
I'm sorry. Did you do anything different this year in the off season or change your training at all?
Not necessarily changing things. It's more just being more consistent. Being a master of the monotonous and just being consistent in what I do and getting back to my process, and ultimately that's what led me to be here today. So.
And does this help you kind of with the looking glass through what coaches deal with? Because not deal with, but just have to, are up against you. Because Coach Dillingham was saying sometimes you guys got to develop patience. Because if you explain something they don't do it right, you kind of look at the coach, and coach just said maybe they got to explain it better. So does that give you more of an insight?
Yeah, I'll probably get to see how the coaches feel today. So but I think I'm pretty good connecting with kids. So I don't think it'll be that big of a challenge for me.
Throughout the spring and this summer, how
do you balance getting close with the new guys in the running back room and also like competition and your personal aspirations of being the starting running back and being as involved in the offense as you can?
I think the competition just, that's just my mindset. That's just how I wake up every morning. That's just the nature of my, personality. I'm a competitor at heart, so I don't think those two kind of really interfere with each other too much, because at the end of the day, those guys are, my teammates. I got love for them, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying, I'm trying to be my best self, and I'm trying to, put my best foot forward. So, and it's not more so in my eyes. I wouldn't say I'm not really competing, but I'm competing against guys around the country. So that's how I look at it. I'm competing against, the guy who's might be working the dark hours, who's trying to get ahead of me. So that's kind of how I look at it.
You mentioned the master of the monotonous. What does that look like?
So it's just, getting up when you don't feel like it, days that you're tired, days that your body is sore, coming up to the facility late at night whenever you, feel like sleeping in, or just, the little things that nobody really sees. So. What'd you say?
What do you like to watch? What do you proud of yourself after?
I watch all running backs, I'm not gonna lie. Chuba Hubbard is a good guy. I just watch a lot of guys that kind of go through the same trainer as me. So Chuba, Travis Etienne, Saquon, a lot of my guy Sonic in Detroit. So I watch a lot of guys. I love just the art of being a running back.
How does high community involvement motivate you as a player?
What's that?
How does high community involvement motivate you as a player?
Oh yeah, I just want to be, around the fans and around the kids and around, just, Sun Devil Nation as a whole. I think that's what feeds me to, give my all and, come out there on Saturdays and, put on for the city. So I think that's what definitely drives, my game.
You spoke about it a little bit earlier, but were there any emotions for you watching so many of your teammates get drafted and get rookie championships and stuff like that?
Yeah, it felt like I was getting drafted, and it felt like I was there. But, just being with those guys throughout the years and, working with them and, shedding blood and tears and, all the time put into, just their craft, it's definitely, rewarding seeing those guys get drafted, and definitely just lets me know, the pressure is on for me to be next. So, yeah.
You're one of the elder statesmen that's been here the longest. What does it feel like to kind of be part of the fabric of the community and one of the backbones of this team?
It just shows that the guys that we had here, because I learned from those guys, so it just shows how good that brotherhood was and how good our culture is here and what we're building here, and it just shows that we have something special.